So here it is the subphylum Vertebrata. Vertebrata is a subphylum belonging to a phylum called Chordata. Under Vertebrata, we can see the further division, like based on presence of jaw and absence of jaw. So under subphylum, classes like Agnatha and Gnathostomata are further divided into subclasses, Cyclostomata, and here you have super or subclasses, fishes and the tetrapods. So now we'll discuss about Agnatha and these Gnathostomata related organisms like chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Okay, here are the notes I have prepared on this. I want all of you to observe this one. Agnatha, the ones which don't have jaw, lower jaw. Let me show you here. Look at this. This is how they look. They almost look like a fish. The body look like a fish, but see the mouth part, they don't have a lower jaw. Okay, let's see the characteristic features. Habitat. All of them are living members are of like ectoparasites. That means they live on other organisms' body surface, especially fishes, you can say. Most of them are marine habitat, live in marine habitat. The body have elongated structure, like a cylindrical elongated structure. See like this is how they look like. They look like a snake shaped, but they are not snakes. And they have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. I already mentioned that gill slits are the main important characteristic feature of organisms that belong to chordates. You can see the gill slits. This is eye. And these are all gill slits present on the lateral part of the body of these organisms. And they have a circular mouth meant for sucking, and without jaws. They don't have upper or lower jaw. See, like you can see right over here. The body don't have scales and paired fins. So they don't have scales on the body like the way the fishes have. The cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous in nature. That means in lower classes you heard that our body also made up of cartilage and bones. Bones are hard compared to cartilage. When you touch your ears, you feel the cartilage. Circulation is closed type. That means blood flows inside the blood vessels. When it comes to the reproduction, the cyclostomata organisms, they are migratory in nature, but migrate for spawning to fresh water. After spawning, within a few days they die. Their larvae, after metamorphosis, return to ocean. So this is a peculiar thing about cyclostomata. Spawning means in order to give, like eggs, laying eggs. So when they're all living in marine habitat, but when they wanted to release the eggs, they move to the fresh water and then release the eggs. After some time they die, the parental bodies die, and these eggs have a larval stage, and this larval stage metamorphoses into adult and they return back to the marine habitat. That is how the reproduction fertilization takes place in the cyclostomata. Okay, let's move to the gnathostomata. Gnathostomata are the subclass having subclasses like chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Let's see what gnathostomata consisting of. When it comes to the chondrichthyes, the name chondro means their body is made up of specially of cartilage. Okay, but whereas osteichthyes, these fishes have bones as a skeletal part. So cartilage made skeletal part in chondrichthyes, and bone-made skeletal part of osteichthyes. They are marine animals, whereas osteichthyes both are marine. Osteichthyes are marine as well as freshwater fishes. We can call them as fishes commonly, like Pisces. Streamlined body. The body is straight, streamlined. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous made. Endoskeleton is bone made. Mouth is located ventrally. Mouth is mostly terminal, like uh, like front part. Neither it is down or up, not neither ventral nor dorsal. Notochord is persistent throughout the life. Gill slits are separated and without operculum. Remember, the most important difference between these two is having and not having operculum. So chondrichthyes don't have operculum and osteichthyes have a operculum. See, they have four pairs of gills. I think you already know when you see a fish, you see there is a gills protected by outermost covering called operculum. Let me show you here. So look at this picture. So this is operculum. The, that means operculum is a covering over the gills. The four pair of gills are protected by operculum, especially in osteichthyes. But whereas this kind of operculum is absent, especially you can see right over here, a shark belong to chondrichthyes. They don't have operculum protecting the gills. Let me show you on the other picture. Look at this. These gills are not protected by operculum. Let's move to the next characteristic. So the difference between them, the second difference is having operculum, not having operculum, and having operculum. Then skin is tough, contain minute placoid scales, whereas skin is covered by cycloid and ctenoid scales. Let me show you how the scales look like. You can see placoid. See, that means shark belong to chondrichthyes having this scales having this type of shape, and it is termed as placoid. Whereas you can see fishes like salmon and bass, which belong to osteichthyes, have cycloid scales and ctenoid scales. Like simply hold the fish and observe it very close proximity, you find scales being present like this. So scales are also different from between chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Then teeth are modified placoid scales. That means if you see the shark, the teeth are modified scales. That, like you can see right over here, the shark. See, the shark have placoid scales which are very sharp and protruded inward into the mouth. They're also placoid scales. Their jaws are very powerful. Like you already know that shark is a ferocious animal in ocean or sea. And then here comes the next one. Most of them are predaceous in nature. Predaceous means predators. They have to swim constantly. That means these chondrichthyes must swim constantly to avoid sinking. Okay, so that you have to remember that shark always need keep on moving so that they can avoid the sinking. Heart is two-chambered heart, one auricle and one ventricle. Whereas in osteichthyes, air bladder. Sorry, I forgot one point here. Absence of air bladder. That means they don't have air bladder. Having an air bladder is the most important characteristic feature of osteichthyes because of presence of that makes them to float. That buoyancy nature is because of presence of air bladder, which is absent in the chondrichthyes. That's why they need to keep on constantly swim. But caustic thighs need not to swim constantly because of having air bladder. Heart is two chambered, same like chondric thighs, one auricle and one ventricle. Okay, and you can see they are cold-blooded animals. Both of them are cold-blooded animals only because these organisms cannot maintain a constant body temperature like mammals. That's why they are coming under cold-blooded. Whereas humans, like us, ourselves, and birds, we're all warm-blooded animals because we maintain a constant body temperature. Cold-blooded nature can be called as a poikilothermous or poikilothermic animals. You can see the definition of poikilothermic: lack of capacity to regulate their body temperature. Okay, fine. Let's move to the next one, reproduction. Sexes are separated in ostrich whereas sexes are also separated in chondric thighs. And now you can see the main important difference between male and female fishes of under chondrichthyes is that the males have a pelvic fins bear claspers. Okay, let me show you the picture of clasper here. Look at this, claspers. Males have claspers, and you can see these are fins. Both male and females have fins, but claspers are absent in females. You can see clearly right over here. But they are present in the male body. Okay, now let's see here. You can see the name Carcharodon is a great white shark. Some of the example: trigon, stingray. They have this internal fertilization. Fertilization takes place inside, and many of them are viviparous. Viviparous means giving birth to young ones directly without egg formation. Without eggshell formation. Okay, fine. When it comes to the ostrich thighs, fertilization is usually external. That means they release the sperm from the male body out of male body into the water medium. Female releases the eggs, ovum, out of the body, and both the fusion of male and female takes place. Gametes takes place outside the body, and they form oviparous. Like that means they form eggs, and the young ones are protected by eggshell, and development is direct without having any larval stage. Fine. So you learn many things here. Poikilothermic means cold-blooded, which cannot maintain a constant body temperature. Air bladder present. If you point out the differences, you can find almost like a 5 differences. You can see starting from cartilage made bones and bone made skeleton. Mouth is ventral, that means downward front part, whereas mouth is terminal, not neither ventral nor terminal, sorry, nor dorsal. They don't have operculum, they have operculum. Scales are different. Air bladder is absent in the chondric thighs, and whereas air bladder is present in ostrich thighs. These are some of the differences. You may get a question out of this also. Here are some of the pictures I would like to share. These are all belonging to cyclostomata, that is ignatha. Gnatha means jaw. A means absence, ignatha. Here the picture of these uh, cyclostomata organisms. The very famous megalodon, which were completely extinct right now. They are very huge compared to the surviving shark currently. You can see the megalodon male Megalodon female infants. You can see the size. You can see the size almost like bigger than the African elephant. They are called stingray. These are stingrays. So many varieties are there. Like we can call them as torpedo. You can see the air bladder here, swim bladder we can call. Swim bladder are meant for making the fish to float in the water medium. You can see how they have these uh, razor sharp teeth. They belong to chondrichthyes. See, the gills are not protected, especially in the shark. This is the very, very famous uh, environment marine biologist who died um, because of like his adventure when he is doing adventure when he was doing the adventure in the ocean. He accidentally went into the group of stingrays where his heart been hit by the tail of the stingray. Let me show you the stingray. So because of hitting with the tail of the stingray, he instantly fell to death. So this is all about fishes.